Liverpool are back in Europa League action on Thursday when they face LASK at Anfield, and this fixture's taken on a little bit more importance than it might have had previously. Of course, last time out in this competition, Liverpool had an opportunity to secure passage to the knockout stages as group winners had they won in Toulouse, but unfortunately they went down to a 3-2 defeat courtesy of a bit of a shocking performance really, and so that's added a bit more jeopardy back into this group stage. Now, of course, it's not all doom and gloom. Liverpool are still firmly in charge of the group. They lead it going into this 5th round of fixtures, but unfortunately it's not quite in their grasp in terms of when they might go through as group winners. Of course, what happens in the Toulouse v USG game that's happening in this match day will have a big effect on whether Liverpool can go straight through as group winners with a win in this game. Now, of course, going through as group winners is vitally important in this competition because it means you avoid an extra round of fixtures. There'll be 2 games there that Liverpool would have to contest in an additional round in the knockout stages that they'll really want to avoid. So that's why it's so important to win and get through as group winners if they can. So the only thing they can control in that is winning this game really. They can't really focus on what goes on between Toulouse and USG. So they've got to focus on getting a win here. And how they go about that, well, it's difficult because I think Jurgen Klopp has got some difficult decisions to make in terms of his team selection. Of course, Liverpool look like they're really juggling 2 competitions at the moment, and I suppose 4 competitions in all if you consider the fact that they're still going in the League Cup and the FA Cup is yet to come. And you think Liverpool really, in terms of the Premier League, are probably more handily placed than many would have expected after they made so many changes over the summer. So there's a real opportunity coming off the back of a draw at Manchester City last time out and the good form they've shown in the early stages that they could be in a Premier League title charge this season. But what they've got to do really is really balance that with the Europa League. So we've seen a lot of heavy rotation from Jurgen Klopp so far in this competition, but he's of course got to balance that with the fact that he really needs his team to go through as group winners again, because that would benefit them so much in the Premier League. So as I say, a little bit of a tricky team selection for him in this one. So I'm going to have a go at picking what I think the team might look like on Thursday. Now, I'm taking a bit of a risk as well because I'm doing this before Jurgen Klopp holds his press conference today at Anfield previewing this game, so I'm at the mercy of any sort of surprise injury blows that Liverpool have suffered. But I'll try my best to pick a side, and as usual, please do let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree with the side I've selected and whether you would go differently for this game. So I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to start with the goalkeeper, and again, this is one of those straightforward ones, isn't it? I know Alisson Becker suffered that injury against Manchester City in the dying stages, didn't he? But I think regardless of whether he was fit or not, we would have been seeing Qualification Kelleher in this competition. This has been his opportunity to show what he's all about so far this season. And as far as we know, he's fit and healthy and ready for this one. So I want to see Qualification Kelleher get another opportunity to shine in this one, and really it's a good opportunity for him, I suppose, to get some minutes and some sharpness, because you know Liverpool might be needing him over the next few weeks if that Alisson injury is anything sort of close to serious. We hope not, but we'll see. But as I say, this is a real chance for Qualification Kelleher to come in and get some sharpness and get used to sort of playing in the feel of working with his defence as well. So a really important game for him. Moving into the defence at right back, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold will probably get a rest as he tends to in this competition, and it's an opportunity for Joe Gomez, because he didn't start that game against Manchester City, to come in at right back. I think he's done really well when he's played at right back so far this season. He's not necessarily a natural there, he is more of a centre half, but I think he's done really well when he's played there, and I think we should see him again. I know Conor Bradley is back in training and would be an option there, but I think this maybe comes a little bit too early in terms of him picking up match sharpness and fitness. So I think we're going to see Joe Gomez there again. Moving into the centre halves, Ibrahima Konate is surely a bit of a no-brainer pick for this one. Didn't come in against Manchester City. Joel Matip preferred, which was a little bit of a surprise, you have to say. Konate tends to be the one that Jurgen Klopp favours, but I think at the moment Matip is in really good form. And so, you know, Europa League game is an opportunity for Konate to sort of force his way back in, and I suppose if he is playing really well in this game and he looks like he's sharp, then maybe, and Jurgen Klopp is desperate to get him back into the Premier League side, then maybe it's an opportunity to take him off after 60 minutes. But as I say, I do expect him to start this one. Alongside him, the other centre half, I've got to be Jarell Quansah for me. I think he's shown in this competition what he's all about, and he's a really talented youngster. I think Liverpool have got to keep putting minutes in him when they can. You know, with Joe Gomez being farmed out to right back, there's a vacancy there as sort of a backup centre half, and I think Quansah, he hasn't put a foot wrong all season. He's been really, really good when he's come in the League Cup and the Europa League. So please, want to see another opportunity for him coming in and showing what he's all about. Really, really been impressed by him. And at left back, Andy Robertson, of course, is still out, and we know that Kostas Tsimikas has come in and done a job there. I thought he was really, really impressive against City, but you've got to protect him at the moment. I think you don't want to be putting too many minutes into his legs or risking an injury for him. So I think he's got to come out for this one. And for me, if Luke Chambers is fit, maybe this is another opportunity for him to come in. He did that job against Toulouse at Anfield, and I think away games are tougher for young players coming in, but I think a home game at Anfield, as I say, you've got the crowd behind you. Liverpool tend to dominate a little bit more at Anfield, should make it a little bit easier for Luke Chambers, so I'd like to see him get another opportunity to impress at left back. Really, really like him, he's a really good prospect. Moving to midfield now, let's start with the holding role. This has been the competition for Wataru Endo, hasn't it, so far this season? He's done really well in this competition so far. Not quite cracked it in terms of coming in the Premier League and pushing Alexis McAllister out of that holding role, but he keeps getting chances to impress, and he's done fairly well, I'd say, in this competition so far. So again, another opportunity for Endo to keep that sharpness. And it also has an importance as well, because you think to the Manchester City game, he comes on in the final moments and does his job and helps see things out. You need to keep him sharp for those moments, even if he's not starting Premier League games. So again, I think important that he comes in for a start here. Further forward in the midfield, the two advanced 8 roles. I'll start with the right-hand side of those. Again, Dominic Szoboszlai is the go-to starter, isn't he, in the Premier League in that position. But in the Europa League, has to be Harvey Elliott. So impressive off the bench so far this season in the Premier League, which is obviously the main competition that Liverpool are really focused on. But he's maybe not shown that sort of level of performance when he's been given starts in the Europa League and the League Cup, and I think you've got to keep throwing him in there because he's learning, he's a young player, and he deserves every opportunity he gets to shine so far this season, because I think he's been good in some of his starts, don't get me wrong, but I think it's mostly what he's been doing off the bench in terms of getting Liverpool playing. I think he's been really, really impressive in his cameos, so absolutely deserves to get his opportunities to start in the Europa League, and hopefully a big performance from him in this one. Keep him sharp, and because, as I say, he's another one who needs to keep sharp because he's having such a big impact off the bench in the Premier League. Now, that left-sided 8, obviously that has been sort of a bit of a competition between Curtis Jones and Ryan Gravenberch so far this season, and we saw Curtis Jones start in the Manchester City game. I did expect that because he had a little bit more Premier League experience. He knows what it's like to face Manchester City, and probably got the manager's trust a little bit more at this early stage of Gravenberch's Liverpool career. But I don't think it's cut and dry in terms of, okay, well, Curtis Jones is the starter in the Premier League and Gravenberch is the starter in the Europa League. I think that was a decision for this game. That said, I do expect Gravenberch to come in for this one, but my thinking is that if the manager's got in his mind that he wants to start Gravenberch in the Premier League at the weekend, then maybe he just does 60 minutes and throws Curtis Jones on for the final 30. I think it's another opportunity for Gravenberch to make the case that he should be starting, because I thought he was so impressive off the bench against Manchester City. Really changed the game in Liverpool's favour, I would say. Really, really impressive cameo for him. So I thought, I think this is another opportunity for him to really make the point that he should be starting games. He should be ahead of Curtis Jones, and if he plays well over that first 60, then maybe he'll make the manager's mind up and he'll drag him off and think, okay, you're going in my team at the weekend. So looking forward to seeing more from Gravenberch. Moving into the forwards, I'll start with the centre forward role because I think this is probably a more straightforward pick for the manager. Darwin Nunez is the favoured centre forward at the moment in the Premier League, isn't he? And I think that's going to continue, despite the fact that, maybe against City it didn't quite work out for him. Some half opportunities he could have made more from. But I think it's going to be Cody Gakpo surely coming in for this one, because I think he needs the sharpness, he needs the minutes. And he's another one who needs to be kept sharp for impacts off the bench. And he's unfortunate really that Nunez has been in quite good form this season, has been keeping him out the Premier League team. But again, Europa League, an opportunity for him to come in. We know he does really, really well when he's deployed in that centre forward position. Really like him there. He plays it almost like a Roberto Firmino, doesn't he? So good opportunity for him to do that. On the wings, I'll start with the left wing. I think on that side, we know Diogo Jota picked up that injury late on against Manchester City, so not expecting to see him back for this one, even though we haven't quite had an update yet on his fitness. And so I think it just makes it an easy one. Luis Diaz didn't start against Manchester City, probably comes in to start this one, I think, on that left-hand side. That again makes sense. You're probably going to have to think about the fact that he's probably going to have to start at the weekend. Jota, I wouldn't expect to be available for that one, so I think Diaz is probably going to have to play against Fulham, so that means that, okay, maybe just put 60 minutes in his legs, get that sharpness, as I say, see if he can get a goal, and then bring him off and bring on one of your options from the bench. And then Diaz should hopefully then not be too fatigued for the weekend and should come in to start that one. Now move on to the other one, the final place in the team, the other wing, and again, don't expect Mohamed Salah for this one. I think we saw in the game again when he played in the midweek game against Bournemouth in the Cup, and then played against Luton the game after. I thought you could actually see the signs of fatigue in him there. I thought that was his probably worst game he's had this season against Luton, and I think that had a lot to do with the fact that he played a really tough game against Bournemouth in the Cup that Liverpool had to really battle to get through. So you saw signs of that fatigue in him after that. So I don't expect the manager to make a habit of using him in the midweek team. And I think a game like this is an opportunity to leave Mohamed Salah out, rest him, get him ready for the weekend so we can see the best version of him. Let's keep this title charge going in the Premier League. So that's how I imagine the manager will see things. So an opportunity on that right wing. And for me, if there is a space there, whenever there's a vacancy on that right wing, you have to give it to Ben Doak. I think he's been impressive when he's come in this season. We know how big of a talent he is as well, and you know, some games it won't go for him, some games it won't quite work out for him, and you're not going to see the perfect performance. But I think you've just got to keep playing him. When you've got a player with such talent, such ability, you've got to keep putting the minutes in his legs. And I think, you know, even if it's difficult for him because he's such a young player, you forget, you know, how young he is compared to some of his teammates. The fact he's in a team at Anfield that should be dominating the game, he should be seeing a lot of the ball, that should make things a lot easier for him. So hopefully this can provide a bit of a better platform for him to impress, because I think some of the games he's been thrown into, it's been quite difficult circumstances and he's maybe not shown his best. I'm thinking he started that game against Toulouse and maybe wasn't fantastic in that game. But I think an Anfield game should be more straightforward for him, should be easy, should see a lot more of the ball, and that should make him more comfortable. So I really do want to see him get an opportunity on that right hand side, and hopefully he can take it and really announce himself as an option for Liverpool going forward this season. Now that completes my starting 11. Do let me know what you think about that. I'm just going to flash up the graphic now and tell me what you think about that starting 11. Maybe you completely disagree with it. Maybe you would go different in certain areas. Please do let me know your starting 11 in the comments. And before I leave, I actually want to mention a couple of things I want to see from this game. Obviously, I want to see Liverpool win. We want to see a good performance. But there's also a couple of other youngsters who maybe could get their opportunity. I'm thinking about Cade Gordon and Connor Bradley, both back in training. They didn't play for the 21s yesterday evening, which means they should be part of the first team squad. And you'd hope if Liverpool get themselves in a comfortable position, they're two big talents who you want to see get opportunities. So hopefully this game can provide that for them, and they can both get run out to Anfield, because they're really big talents who you know, both had injury problems. So this could be an opportunity for them to get themselves back in the sort of first team picture. And so maybe if Liverpool get themselves in a good position, they can both come on and we can see a bit from them. So that's what I'm hoping to see from the game in terms of my lineup and in terms of substitutions. As I say, do let me know in the comments what you're thinking. And as ever, please do drop me a like and a subscribe and share the word and get the word out there about this channel. Always trying to grow it, always trying to reach more Liverpool fans, and I appreciate every single one of you who does watch and subscribes and likes these videos and gives you comments. I love talking to you guys in the comments as well. So thank you very much, and I will be seeing you after the match for my post-match thoughts.